Okay. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Riverhead Industrial Development Agency today, July 11th, at 5 p.m., 5:03 p.m., Riverhead Town Hall. First, I'd like to just, shall we take attendance in terms of the board members? I'm not sure how we want to do that, Tracy, but 4 of the 5 of us are present.
Signifying a quorum.
Sorry?
We just have to say we're signifying a quorum.
Yeah.
Signifying
Yeah.
a quorum, so that we have a quorum for tonight's meeting. And the first item of business, I'd like a motion to consider tonight's agenda.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, say?
Aye.
The agenda is adopted, and at this moment, I'd like to then, shall we say, Counselor, do I
Recess.
pause it, or do I?
Recess.
Recess. I'll recess this meeting in order to open a public hearing. And I'd like to call a public hearing meeting to order tonight.
I'll make the motion to
Ah,
recess.
Okay, make the motion to recess.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
At 5:02, 5:03.
I will call this meeting to order at 5:03, 5:04 p.m. And we're here this evening to accept public comment regarding the application for financial assistance of 48 Cromer LLC. I have on file an affidavit certifying the publication of the following notice of public hearing in the June 30th, 2022 issue of the News Review as the official newspaper of the Riverhead Industrial Development Agency, as so designated by the Board of Directors at its meeting of December 6th, 2021. I make the notice of public hearing and the resolution calling said hearing a part of the record of this proceeding of 48 Cromer LLC. Further, I make a part of the record of this proceeding the affidavit of Tracy Stark James as Executive Director of the Riverhead Industrial Development Agency, attesting to the service of the notice of public hearing in this matter upon the chief fiscal officers of the affected jurisdictions as required by the laws of the state of New York. Would the representatives of 48 Cromer LLC now step forward and present to the board the application for financial assistance? And please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you very much for having us this evening to describe this project. My name is Chris Kempner. I'm a consultant to 48 Cromer LLC, which is the subject of this hearing. Is it on? No.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, it is on.
Is it?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
Hot.
Okay, so I'm here to discuss the 48 Cromer LLC project that is under consideration by the IDA for benefits. And my client is Frank Fisher, who was caught up with some business and is on the way, and he apologizes for the delay. I'm here with Ray Dickoff, who's an executive with 48 Cromer. My client, Frank Fisher, currently operates his businesses in Southampton. They operate on both the North and South Forks. They service both the North and South Forks, but they're physically, the offices are located in Southampton, and he would like to relocate his operations to Riverhead. The proposal is for a wholesale propane facility with a small business, office, and industrial shared space, commercial building, including full-service small business entrepreneurial space that has logistics and infrastructure capacity support for the businesses that are located there. 48 Cromer LLC is wholly owned by Frank Fisher and is a new entity that he formed in 2017 for the purposes of acquiring and redeveloping the property located at 48 Cromer Avenue in Riverhead, New York. That's Suffolk County Tax Map 600-119-1-32.1. He purchased the property to relocate and expand 3 existing businesses he has. Those would be 631 Propane, which is a wholesale liquid propane facility, Go Green Sanitation, which is sanitation services for residential and commercial waste, and Fisher Organization, which is a rental property ownership and management company. 48 Cromer is requesting incentives from the Riverhead Industrial Development Agency to redevelop this 4.045 acre industrial property, as the project costs estimated a total investment of $15,700,000 for and $204 would be prohibitive for the applicant to move forward without RETA assistance. The Riverhead site is far more well-suited for the economic health and growth of several tenant companies, given the space constraints on the existing location. And one business, 631 Propane, can't expand as the current zoning for the office location doesn't allow for a propane facility on site. So the proposed facilities to be developed at the site location is one 38,472 square foot industrial building. This will be 2 stories with a basement. It'll include general office, small business, entrepreneurial space, about 13,000 square feet, which will include 15 offices, 12 workstations, and shared operational meeting space. So the businesses can share conference room, kitchen, filing, copying. And then we will also have logistical support on site for all the business office needs. So there'll be an on-site 1099 attorney, accountant, there'll be marketing services, print services, and a call center. So any business, whether they're startup or existing, that wants to move into a one-stop shop will be able to. And the building will have 9 commercial rental industrial bays, 13,000 square feet on the first floor. One of those bays will be used by the propane facility. We're targeting plumbing, as that's an important business out here. And the basement will have additional parking and mini storage for tenants in the basement, so that's another 13,000 square feet. The proposed uses as of today that are committed are to house and expand the capabilities of the 3 existing businesses that are wholly owned by Frank Fisher. So this would be approximately 4,135 square feet of the developed office space at 1,166 square foot industrial bay and about 1.5 acres of the outdoor yard space. So 48 Cromer LLC would occupy about 25% of the 4,135,000 square foot office, and that's the real estate holding company. 631 Propane would occupy about 25% of the office space, the 4,135 square feet that the Frank Fisher's companies will take, and 1 industrial bay and about 1.5 acres of the yard space, which is about half of the property that's developable. The propane is wholesale only. There's no retail. Nobody's coming to fill up barbecue tanks. It's basically a business that sells the 1,000-gallon tanks, buries them, and then will service those businesses. So there'll be 6 30,000-gallon tanks that will total about 180,000 gallons. The third business will be Go Green Sanitation LLC, which is another 25% of the occupied space that Frank Fisher's companies is taking, and it's sanitation service for residential and commercial waste. There's no waste that'll be on site. This is strictly the trucks. The trucks pick up on the North and South Fork, and then they transfer to a waste station and come back. So the trucks will be there, and the business operations will be in the office. And then the Fisher organization will be the balance of the 25% of the 4,135 square foot office space that Frank Fisher's companies will take, and that's rental property ownership and management. So the need is definitely documentable. The availability of high-quality, full-service entrepreneurial space with full business logistical support is virtually non-existent. There are shared office spaces, but there's really no place that someone can move in to a space and have access to attorney, call center, print, accountant without going off-site. It'll provide enhanced capacity to our local small businesses and hopefully allow some people to start new businesses. We propose fractional sharing of the in-house professional staff, so nobody has to really retain a full-time attorney or full-time marketing specialist, and it'll make it very affordable and readily available access to the legal, accounting, marketing, branding, and printing services. The project is located in an opportunity zone, a federally designated opportunity zone. So that's an area that's been targeted for investment. It's a low to moderate income area under HUD guidelines as in the Riverhead town. And we're requesting the incentives as exemption from New York State sales tax. We estimate the benefit to be about $848,000. This would be for sales tax exemption for construction materials, building systems and furnishings, and some on-site equipment. We're looking for exemption from the mortgage tax, mortgage recording tax. We estimate that to be about $75,000. And the real property tax, we are asking for an abatement on all improvements for 10 years. The current taxes are approximately $22,000 right now on the site, and we're proposing a $30,000 payment, which will be an increase for the next 10 years. The project will significantly increase taxes generated by the site over the long term and will also generate significant job development. So the economic benefits of the project, we would immediately start with construction jobs. The direct construction cost investment of $9.748 million would break down to about $6.9 million in new construction and $2.8 million in site work would be invested into the site over the next 12 to 18 months. And we anticipate that would employ approximately 150 area workers. The direct jobs will be committed by the companies that are wholly owned by Frank Fisher, although there will be additional jobs once the site is built and we're leasing the additional space. We project that the companies that are owned by Frank Fisher will employ 54 new full-time jobs and 10 new part-time jobs within 5 years of completion of construction. And we anticipate the new average salary of the jobs to be about $70,000, with hourly wage earners running about $50,000. So the proposed job descriptions are drivers. The interesting thing about the drivers is that right now about 50% of the drivers for one of the companies are formerly incarcerated individuals. So it's a job that people who have been incarcerated are able to be employed at a healthy wage, keep them stable. We'd have maintenance, property maintenance, propane maintenance, installers, machine operators, sales, service, and administrative positions. The real estate holding company, 48 Cromer LLC, will employ buildings and grounds, office, and administrative positions. 631 Propane, the wholesale liquid propane facility, will employ drivers, sales, service, and administrative positions. Go Green Sanitation will employ drivers and administrative positions. And Fisher Organization, which is the real estate holding company and management, will employ building management, maintenance, groundskeepers, administrative assistants, and marketing and leasing. So the 54 full-time and 10 part-time projected jobs are strictly with companies that are controlled by Frank Fisher. For indirect jobs, which are the jobs that would fill the balance of the space, we anticipate approximately at a minimum 39 secondary jobs by occupant businesses that take the available vacant office and industrial space. For the multi-user office space, there'll be 15 offices with a minimum of 1 employee, so that would equal about 15 secondary jobs. And there'll be flexible office space, workstations to support 20 to 30 small businesses and entrepreneurs. The industrial bays will have 8 commercial rentals that are available to new tenants, and we assume at 3 employees each, we expect about 24 secondary jobs. And again, we were targeting the plumbing industry. So I think the uniqueness of the property and model that Mr. Fisher has developed is the shared full-service office space is very unique, and it'll be an attractive amenity to the Riverhead office market. It'll have the full-service shared business infrastructure and logistics for a business to just move in and start operating. If they have a bay and they have an industrial aspect to their company, hopefully they can expand with the market out here, which is very healthy. Again, there'll be shared conference filing, copy, kitchen, and other Class A office facilities, which are not available anywhere in the area. The project community benefits is, I think, number one is local energy security. We're aware of some of the issues that have come up in the past year with energy. This will allow a propane plant to have propane on site, and it'll secure liquid propane availability to the local community in the event of further supply chain disruption. Last year, there was a pipeline hack where it severely impacted the availability of propane, and because most of the propane facilities are monopolies, they're owned by some very large companies that are not local, this would allow storage of propane on site by a local company in case of a shortage. We believe the project and the tenants will drive additional investment into the Riverhead business community and create new diverse small business employment opportunities. The goal is, to give people sort of an incubator style space so that they can start their company, grow their company, and then hopefully move into additional space in Riverhead, have them come back to you to build their own facility. We had environmental restoration of 1 acre of the property under the DEC guidance when we developed the DEC permit. So there's 1 acre that was sort of repatriated to nature. And we'll install new sidewalks along Cromer Avenue. We've donated 3 classic rail cars to the Riverhead Rail Museum. And we feel like this will support entrepreneurial small businesses and lower the barrier to entry to the market. One key feature is this has no school impact. It's at full build out. It'll generate new tax revenue and without any additional expenses to the school district. And the current site is underutilized. It was vacant and dilapidated. It housed a former metal machining shop. The gentleman retired, so it wasn't operating, and that building has been demolished and we're ready to build once we move forward with your decision. So I thank you very much, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer or have Mr. Fisher answer.
Lori?
This is beyond our purview, but the safety precautions, I'm sure there are a lot with regard to the 6 tanks that are going to be on the property, and that you've had to do or show that you've met all those with the fire department. I mean, all of those things. Is that right?
Yes,
Is there a process?
in order to operate, it's a highly regulated business.
Right, that's what
So
I'm
there's
assuming.
multiple levels of permits that are required in order to operate safely.
Okay. The 1 acre donation to the DEC, is that something you're remediating? The company is remediating itself, or it's being,
Yes, from
Farmed
what I
out,
understand,
or-
returning it to its
DEC
natural
isn't doing
state.
it, you're doing it?
Yes, that was the negotiation.
Okay. And then of the 54 jobs that that will be under Mr. Fisher's companies, how many of those are going to be new in the facility? Because he does have these existing companies already. I believe you're on Riverly?
Yes, Riverlight. And right now, there's 17 existing employees, but we anticipate the job growth will actually be more than the numbers we projected. But given sort of the uncertainty of the last few years and supply chain, we thought it's better to underestimate than overestimate. But those are new jobs.
17 is new?
No, 17 is existing.
Oh, okay.
And then the
Okay.
54 full-time is new, because there's 3 different entities. So like the propane company will have more capacity.
Okay.
So there'll be more trucks going out, and there'll be more business in terms of installations. There'll be more room for all the companies to sort of
Right.
operate and grow.
Okay, so the 54 is a new jobs number?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I'd just like to clarify that for you, Lori. Our requirements are to meet projections up to 2 years. So I just want to clarify that their projections for 2 years are 35. So you may see that in your documentation and in our requirements to the ABO and comptroller.
Okay.
They did do a 5-year lookout, but I don't want you
For
to...
our reporting
Correct.
purposes, we would look at 2
We're
years.
going to look at 35, meeting 35 new jobs in 2 years.
Okay. And then just one last question, the shared services, which I love this concept of, in this facility, how are they prorated for the initial tenants? When there aren't a lot of, there may not be a lot of companies across which you can share those services?
Well, those will be 1099 employees.
Okay.
So they'll be able to bill individually, and, I'm assuming that in the beginning, the professionals that come or the businesses that come will have their own clients as well.
Okay.
So they'll just be 1099 employees.
Okay, so they're not included in the jobs figures that
No,
we've got here?
But those are additional
Right.
jobs in the Riverhead town.
Okay, great, thanks.
I reviewed the construction costs, the spreadsheet on that. Just a question, how aged is that spreadsheet? Meaning, at what point in time was that prepared?
Those are all recent quotes in the last few months. We were able to do it at a little bit of a discounted rate because of Ray Dickoff involved.
So Ray Dickoff from Aquabog, 48 Chrome LLC. Pull it up a little bit. Yeah, those numbers were updated, Lee, approximately 6 months ago. So,
And as part of updating, were you able to ensure that you would be able to supply the necessary materials that you'll need? Or is this, is this spreadsheet based upon what you need, but it's going to also depend upon, supply chain interruptions or things of that
well,
nature?
I have lead times on, certain items are way out there, and they're going to be ordered up front as fast as possible. So over an 18-month period, yeah, supplies are going to be a problem. But we are planned, we have storage capacity to, pre-order, get the material there on site so it's there when we need it. Yes, we do have the material set up.
Okay, but these are within 6 months?
Within
these-
6 months,
These
yes.
costs? Okay, thanks.
Donnie? Couple of questions. A simple one. Do you have all your permits now? And I'm not worried about the safety ones. Do you have all your town permits? Are you all done with the town?
Waiting on.
We're waiting for the building permit, which we have submitted for. We have the approved
Okay.
Site plan,
Okay.
the DEC permits, the SWIP permits, the Speedies permits. We have every permit other than a building permit,
Okay.
and that's been submitted for a couple of months now.
Another question. In terms of you mentioned the ability to supply the town in that and have sort of a backup supply, if you will. Does that rely much on your train track thought that you mentioned when we met earlier?
No, the train track is not part of this project at this time.
Okay.
In the future, we will visit it, but it has nothing to do with bringing in material. It's not part of the project at this
So
time.
you're just having it trucked in?
No, all material will be trucked in.
Whereas the party next door to you has a rail link, is that right?
They have a rail for they get their propane by rail.
Yeah, but you will not be?
Not today. It's
Hopefully
not
in the
part of this
future.
project now.
Okay, all right. And Tracy, do we have their bank letter?
No, they're still seeking a commitment from, as far as we know. There's no update to that. We're still looking for a commitment from the bank.
Okay, I'd like to see what the final financing terms are going to be. I don't have any further questions at the moment. Maybe we'd like to open up to members of the public who might have questions.
Or comment?
Yeah, good evening. My name is Jonathan Brown, 737 Roanoke Avenue, Riverhead, New York, 11901. I represent the Riverhead Fire District. They have asked me to attend here today with regard to the property tax abatements with regard to the fire district portion of those tax abatements only. The application itself was not accessible until today. There was another application up, so if I'm factually incorrect on anything, it's because I could only review this afternoon. But it appears to me that the estimated pilot is going to be $30,000 a year for the next 10 years. There are very real costs to the fire district and the fire department to prepare and train and equip to respond at this site and the adjacent site for that matter. But there are very real costs that are imposed by this project. And I think it's important that the applicant cover those costs in an equitable manner, the way that other taxpayers in the community cover the cost of providing fire protection services in the community, and that the free ride on this type of an application is not something that comes at the burden of the taxpayers of our community. The impact of this use at this location is very real, and it's not to be downplayed or ignored. A similar facility in the Shirley area about 10 years ago suffered a leak of propane on New Year's Day, forcing the evacuation of 1 square mile and the commitment of firefighting resources of 1 year. The application has been approved, the site plan has been approved, they're awaiting building permits. It's going to be a reality, but the fire district itself has to have the necessary funds in order to equip, train, and be prepared to operate at this facility. Thank you.
Question, does that, are you suggesting that there would be a different level of tax for this facility with respect to the fire district? Or does the fire district simply have
Well, one of the things that the applicant spoke about is that this has no impact on the school district. And I don't speak for the school district, but it's clear that they're not going to be putting any children in the school. But there is a cost to provide fire protection services to a facility of this type. This is not a single-family residence that we have all the equipment and all the training. The firefighters regularly operate in that area. I would note that there was a fire in a LP truck on the other side of the river about a month ago, and it was very fortunate that there was no levy. The safety concerns aside, we believe that they can operate in a safe manner, but we have to be prepared. On a historical note, in 1970, there was a LP tanker car explosion here in Riverhead. I don't know if anybody here remembers that. But that required, according to my sources in the fire department, a multi-day commitment on the part of the fire department. So you're talking about volunteers that are going to have to take time off from work, their other responsibilities in order to respond to an emergency situation. We hope that all is well and that there is no need for our services at this facility, but we do have to prepare for that.
What kind of costs are you asking for? What do you anticipate?
I leave that to the future. I mean, what you've got is a concentration of propane in this area that's going to require, I mean, the way they fight these things is minimum manpower, maximum distance. So it may be I'm uncertain as to what the SOP is going to be in the future, how they're going to respond. But their goal is to meet the needs of the community, and there's got to be a funding stream in order to provide those things. We're not asking for anything in particular other than that portion of their real property tax, which has to do with fire protection services, should be fully funded.
I have a question similar to that. Obviously, this has already gone through site plan approval. I do know that the fire,
The fire
Commissioner?
district had concerns at the
Correct,
time, and
and-
those were addressed.
right, and so during that time, did the fire department assess what type of equipment different from what they have and do some kind of cost estimate?
Well,
Is that-
right, as the community changes and depending on the volume of activity at this site, that may necessitate, they have not planned at this point for the acquisition of new equipment and material to fight this thing. But as the situation evolves and time goes by, all I know is the standards for firefighting are changing on an almost annual basis in the NFPA and those other sources that guide what it is that we must do. So it's a very different world now than it was a few years ago with regard to these types of incidents.
But they were part of the planning of the safety measures that were put in place during the site plan?
Well, no, the applicant is the one that called out the safety measures, not the fire district. The fire district had comments
Right.
on those, but, and there was a reduction in the number of tanks at the site and repositioning of the tanks, but that was sort of minor modifications to the site plan in order to accommodate the needs of first responders.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
And sorry about the application, it was a jinx. I thought it had been fixed, and we got it fixed this morning.
Those of us of a certain age are challenged with this stuff enough. But it was, thank you for your help today in moving that forward.
Are there any further questions or observations?
Hello, my name is Quint Nigro, 131 Brook Street, Riverhead, New York, 11901. I'm a lifelong Riverhead resident, speaking on behalf of the Building and Construction Council of Nassau and Suffolk Counties. The Nassau-Suffolk Building Trades represents 65,000 members across Long Island and is comprised of 36 affiliated unions. I would like to publicly state for the record that we advocate for this board to adopt the Long Island First policy that the Suffolk County IDA adopted in December of last year.
Public hearing.
Furthermore, in support of the Long Island First policy, I brought a letter from Supervisor Ed Romaine where he advocates for his own Brookhaven IDA to adopt this policy. Additionally, the 48 Cromer project is a $15 million construction project and is a perfect candidate for a project labor agreement. I encourage this board to have the developer engage with the Building Trades Council in order to work towards a PLA before you grant all of your incentives. The PLA will fulfill the mission of creating high-wage and high-benefit careers within the town and utilize existing apprenticeship programs to create even more opportunity for local residents. Thank you, and I hope this board continues to engage with our building trade sisters and brothers as more projects come before you.
Thank you. Do you have the letter?
Right here, yeah.
Could you give that to Tracy, please?
Sure.
Yes, Ms. Blass?
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman Farley, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Barbara Blass. I live in Jamesport. I've submitted copies of the Town Board resolution granting the special permit for 48 Cromer Avenue LLC for a liquid propane and storage distribution facility with accessory office, as well as the resolution approving the final site plan by the Planning Board. I have followed this application over the years, up to and including the presentation made to you by their consultant on June 6th, and again this evening. Regardless of the merits of the application, the project, in my opinion, as now described, is not entirely consistent with the record thus far established by the Planning Board, nor the Town Board, nor the seeker record, and may not be consistent with the Industrial A zoning use district. Further, as was represented during the June 6th discussion, there were negotiations that had commenced regarding the reactivation of the rail spur. I believe it was Mr. Dickoff that represented that. And just for your information, any reactivation of the rail spur will require a new special permit and a new site plan and an updated seeker review. And I just ask for an adjournment of this proceeding to allow the agency to clarify this information. Thank you very much.
All right. Would there be any other comment or questions?
At that was the June 6th meeting, is that when it was? I made a statement of negotiations with the rail. It's my job to provide Mr. Fisher with the information he needs to grow his businesses, all right? That rail is in no way part of this project today. And we know that in possible 2 years, 3 years, 1 year, If we decide to go forward, I have to be able to provide him with the information of how long does it take to activate a rail? What's the cost to reactivate a rail? What companies design the reactivation of a rail? So that statement I made when I was in negotiations, it's not negotiations to start construction today. It's negotiations so I can know what it takes to activate a rail in the future. Conversations with Jeff Murphy, the planning department, the town board, dating back to 2018, was the rail spur is not part of this project. If we choose to go through it, yes, we have to go back to site plan, we have to go back to the town board. That was made crystal clear by the planning department and the town board all these years. So yes, I have had conversations, I have to continue to have conversations, because if Mr. Fisher decides in the future, yes, we should move forward with the rail, what is it going to take? I have to give him an answer, all right? So I have to know these things. So that's why I want to address that with the rail.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Brian Nigro. I reside at 131 Brook Street, Riverhead, New York, 11901. I'm a business agent with Sheet Metal Workers Local 28. I want to echo my son's comments on the Long Island First policy. I think it's important if we're going to offer a tax abatement for this project, that we use local labor. That's really all I have to say. I'm speaking off the cuff. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any further comments, observations, questions? Any from the board? No? Well, then I think I can ask, I think I'd like to move that we close the public hearing on this matter. May I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And with that,
5:38.
I would like to thank the Cromer Avenue team for coming in and presenting. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Board. Thank you.
Now with that, I would like a motion to reopen our meeting.
So
Make a
moved.
motion to reopen.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So we'll reopen the meeting at 5:40 PM.
Who did that? I'm sorry.
Second?
Anthony and
Tony and me.
Lori?
Now, let's see, where are we? We're now to consideration of our minutes. Could I have a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes from June 6th, if I will?
I'll make the motion to dispense with the reading and approve the minutes, June 6th.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have no correspondence?
That's
tonight?
correct.
Okay. Treasurer's report, Lee?
So at the conclusion of June, the cash in the checking account at People's United Bank totaled $22,010.02. The balance in the money market account was $45,023.38. Interest earned for the month was $1.88, and the amount of $25,000 was transferred to the operating account on June 2nd, 2022. Revenues for the month of June included interest earnings of $10.39, services rendered to the town of Riverhead in the amount of $50,000, and late pilot fees of $10,209.98. Expenses for the month of June 2022 totaled $15,812.09. That concludes the treasurer's report, and I'd make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll make that motion to accept.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, who motioned? Thank you. Who seconded? Lee?
Lori.
Lori? Thank you.
Okay, I don't believe we have any committee reports tonight, so
No.
we can pass that one by, okay? Old business, consideration of financial assistance for 205 Osborne Avenue LLC. I guess what we have here, Tracy, is a resolution dated today,
That is correct. Authorization.
3522.
This board held its public hearing in December, but we typically don't take action on a project until it's been authorized by the town of Riverhead, which received final approval last week. And we had appropriately planned to have the resolution tonight.
Okay. Any members of the board want to discuss the resolution? Any particular points you'd like to discuss? Or not?
Well, I would just like to say, I just think that this is an extremely important project for the Railroad Avenue area of our town, and the town has invested a lot of money and resources developing a strategic plan for the revitalization of it. This project has removed a blight that has been there for years and years on a prominent corner next to the court complex over there. I know that people have talked about revitalizing that area for a long time. They've done flower plantings and things like that, but this is really what's going to have an impact in that area. We've seen the quality of the work that this developer has done. He's got a project downtown Riverhead where the subway was, and I just think that this project will serve as a catalyst for additional investment in this area, and I'm happy to support it.
Okay. I have to echo your comments. It's a big factor in the whole TOD development, which is in the, I think, state of negotiation with the town right now. I don't think there's any further comments from the board, then I think we could
Just a big
move.
thanks for coming in.
Yeah. I think with that, I could ask for a motion to approve the resolution.
I'd be happy to make that motion.
I have to second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that's an approval.
I'll put away my presentation now.
Thank you.
Thanks again, members of the board.
Yes, you're welcome.
Oh, did you vote?
Yeah.
We did.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry, missed it.
Okay, that brings us to new business, which is the consideration to authorize the chairman to execute a lease. Is that here, this is here as a resolution, Tracy?
It is.
Okay. Okay, this is to renew the lease on our offices for 5 years,
Correct,
as is, basically?
correct.
And how much,
Same terms.
same terms? Any rent increase?
Any,
Yeah,
well,
annual-
same terms,
what is it?
3% a year.
3%.
Okay, okay, all right. Well, I have it here, I haven't read the lease yet, though, but...
I read the lease.
Yeah.
The lease is fine.
And I did negotiate that we don't have to clean it 3 times a week.
Well, with that, then, I'd like a motion to approve this resolution that authorized me to execute this agreement.
I'll move that.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion approved. And that brings us to an adjournment, and I would like to adjourn this meeting unless there's any other matters, Tracy.
Not unless the board has matters.
Anything else we want to discuss tonight? Not tonight? Good. All right, then.
Very good.
Well, then, we're adjourned at 5:46 PM.